All right. What is going on, everybody? I hope you all are having a great day. So, today I wanted to do something very different. So, I wanted to share to you something about the Basketball Hall of Fame. So, for those of you who do not know what that is, the Basketball Hall of Fame is a place where the best players in NBA history get inducted into the Hall of Fame. These can also include some international players as well, too, who played overseas and won a lot of accolades. Those players also get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame because they won a lot of international accolades. They necessarily did not even have to play in the NBA. The reason that I like to talk about this is because I think it's very, very, very incredible and very interesting how like players get inducted into the Hall of Fame because the Hall of Fame is the place where the best players get inducted into. And so right here, what I have open is Basketball Hall of Fame probability. So basically, what this page does is this calculates a basketball player's Hall of Fame probability based on their accolades and what they've achieved in their careers. So as you can see right here, this Hall of Fame probability for LeBron James shows 100%, 1.00. That means he's 100% going to get inducted today. If let's say he were to retire today, he is going to in 4 years, which is the eligibility for a player to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, he is 100% going to make the Hall of Fame. So here's some other names that are also 100% that are guaranteed to make the Hall of Fame. Names like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Kobe Bryant. All these players got inducted into the Hall of Fame. These ones certainly had a 100% case of making the Hall of Fame. You can see this asterisk symbol right here. This symbol shows that that player has been inducted into the Hall of Fame in the past. So the players that have a bold on them right now, like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, these players are current NBA players. These players are guaranteed Hall of Famers no matter what happens. Their careers could end today and they would be locks to make the Hall of Fame because of what they have achieved throughout their careers. What also helps an NBA player's Hall of Fame resume is also them being able to win a lot of accolades, such as All Star appearances, MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year awards. Those kind of stuff factor into how likely a player is going to make the Hall of Fame. And there have been instances where NBA players who have had a low probability according to Probability Hall of Fame make the Hall of Fame in spite of the fact that they are have a low probability. Now, some of these players definitely deserve to make the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to make the Hall of Fame. I believe they definitely deserve to make the Hall of Fame. I believe it's more so the factor of the Hall of Fame probability, just like not taking into consideration like their awards, because like the sometimes some players might have five All Star selections, but might have a low probability according to Hall of Fame probability, but are still Hall of Fame worthy players. It's just that the Hall of Fame probability did not like calculate it properly, or like they did calculate it properly, just that they did not. They showed it according to like the awards, and that might not be the only factor also that gets them to the Hall of Fame. So if you take a look right here, these as I scroll down the list, you can see that there's like the probability is like 99, 98%. This is still 100% of a lock. I believe any player like I feel like any player that has a 50% probability of making the Hall of Fame to a 100% probability of making the Hall of Fame are for sure going to make the Hall of Fame. Those players I believe should make the Hall of Fame if they're not even in the Hall of Fame already. So these players, all of them deserve to make the Hall of Fame. So there's no question about that. There's obviously, as you can see, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paul George, and Nikola Jokic. Those players definitely deserve to make the Hall of Fame once their careers are over. This is all based on the All Star selection that a player also got. The more the All Star selections a player gets, the more likely they're to make the Hall of Fame. Now, as you can see right here, some players who are retired and don't have a Hall of Fame probability, they are Vince Carter just got inducted. He just got announced this past weekend that Vince Carter made the Hall of Fame. He definitely is a Hall of Fame worthy player, and he should definitely. He's no question a Hall of Famer. Now, someone like Larry Faust, even though he has a 94% probability, he has not made the Hall of Fame, and he is not alive anymore. He passed away in the 1960s, tragically, and he made a grand total of 8 All-Star selections. And in spite the fact that he's not in the Hall, he's made 8 All-Star selections, he has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I find this very surprising because you would think that a player who has 8 All-Star selections, they would instantly make the Hall of Fame. There are other players that have 8 All-Star selections that are guaranteed Hall of Famers or are going to be making the Hall of Fame once their career is done. But someone like Larry Faust, he's still not even in the Hall of Fame, even though he has a 94% probability of making the Hall of Fame. I just hope someday, even though Larry Faust is dead, rest in peace to Larry Faust, he makes the Hall of Fame because honestly, he deserves to make the Hall of Fame because he has a 94% chance Hall of Fame and he has 8 All-Star selections, which is more than enough to make the Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna continue going down the list. So this is like more of the 80% now, like as we leave the 90%. So as you can see right here, Chauncey Billups, even though he doesn't have an asterisk, he also got inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend as well. He well deserved to make the Hall of Fame. He was the 2004 Finals MVP and he was a multiple time All Star. He more than deserved to make the Hall of Fame. Like he has long been overdue for making the Hall of Fame. It took him 10 years after he retired, which was in 2014, to make the Hall of Fame. He was a 5-time All Star. He he won the Finals MVP in 2004, helping win the Detroit Pistons win their 2004 NBA championship. He really was a very good player during those times. Like he was a very smart point guard during those times, and he really was someone that really should, in my opinion, like should have made the Hall of Fame for quite some time. Now I'm so glad he finally got his due where his due is deserved because him and Ben Wallace are the first two players in the Detroit Pistons 2004 championship roster that have made the Hall of Fame, with Ben Wallace making the Hall of Fame in 2021. But I'm glad to see Chauncey Billups finally got his due. He should have. I don't know what exactly caused him to not make the Hall of Fame for some time. Like he was a Hall of Fame snub, but I'm glad that now he's in the Hall of Fame now. So as you can see on the list, all these players that are bolded and that have a bold on their thing that are active players, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, Kevin Love, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Joel Embiid, they all definitely deserve to make the Hall of Fame. Sean Marion, as you can see right here, and Amari Stoudemire, they have not made the Hall of Fame, but I believe they will make the Hall of Fame. And in due time, Sean Marion will get his Hall of Fame. He will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So will Amari Stoudemire. As you can see down this list, there's like more players that also got into the Hall of Fame. Like these were like more, especially in the 50%. These are like more like borderline Hall of Famers, but they deserve to make the Hall of Fame. And as you can see right here, here's also Rajon Rondo too, who has a 61% chance of making the Hall of Fame. He retired last week, but he deserves to make the Hall of Fame. I believe he's going to make the Hall of Fame in 2026. He retired 2 years. He retired last week, but he was not playing in the NBA for the past 2 years. Now, as we go down here, this is like more of the borderline Hall of Fame, but I believe that these players definitely deserve to make the Hall of Fame. For instance, Joe Johnson right here, he has a 51% chance of making the Hall of Fame. I think he well deserves of making the Hall of Fame. So same thing with LaMarcus Aldridge right here, who has a 51% chance Hall of Fame. He definitely deserves to make the Hall of Fame because he was a very good player during his time. He was a 7-time All Star. That is like something that should make him a Hall of Famer because like even though he was yes a borderline, he seems like a borderline Hall of Fame player. I believe he will make the Hall of Fame. I feel like him having him getting 7 All-Star selections. Sorry for a bit of a pause there. Him making that should make him get into the Hall of Fame. Now, Joe Johnson, I believe he also deserves to make the Hall of Fame. He's hit numerous clutch buckets throughout his whole NBA career, and yes, he never made the finals or won a championship, but him being a 7-time All-Star should definitely increase his probability of making the Hall of Fame. And I think he's going to be a forgotten player as years go on because he was not someone that was a superstar, but he was someone who was still very good though. Now, as you can see down here, someone like DeMar DeRozan, who's a current NBA player, I believe he definitely deserves to make a Hall of Fame, especially coming as he does play for my favorite team, which is the Chicago Bulls, and I think he definitely deserves to make the Hall of Fame. He has 6 All-Star selections, and he is someone who I want to see make the Hall of Fame because his career is worthy of making the Hall of Fame based on the amount of All-Star selections. And someone like John Wall, now him is someone who people are like back and forth on if he should make the Hall of Fame. I personally think he should make the Hall of Fame because he was one of the best players on the Washington Wizards during the 2010s. And yes, the Washington Wizards never made the conference finals, but he did try his best to take the team to as far as they could. And he was a 5-time All-Star, but he at least did make the Hall of Fame. He should, in my opinion, make the Hall of Fame. Like he's currently not playing right now, but I think he can. He will come back and try to at least play in the NBA at some point. I think he definitely deserves to make the Hall of Fame. Now, some players right here on this list, some players like Sean Kemp, Bill Laimbeer, Marcus Johnson, do not are not in the Hall of Fame yet, but I think they could possibly make the Hall of Fame. Even Penny Hardaway too. His real name is Anthony Hardaway, but I believe Penny Hardaway should also make the Hall of Fame because all of these players, like, yes, they did not have too much. They had like 5, 6 All-Star selections, but they deserve to like make it in based on what they've done as well. Yes, and Walter Davis, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame last week. Rest in peace to Walter Davis, but yeah, I believe he should make the Hall of Fame for sure. Now, some players like here, like Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns. Rudy Gobert, I think, is going to make the Hall of Fame because based on how he's going to possibly win 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, he already has 3 right now. That kind of stuff is definitely worthy of making the Hall of Fame based on what he has achieved in the NBA. So same thing with Karl-Anthony Towns too. I think if he keeps getting more All-Star selections, he'll probably make the Hall of Fame. He needs to acquire more accolades. Now, as we go down the list, we have some current players like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Al Horford, Derrick Rose, Trae Young. I think Jason Tatum's Hall of Fame probability will increase as time goes on because he will get more All-Star selections and he's bound for getting those All-Star selections. Same thing with Donovan Mitchell as well too. I think both of them will go definitely above 50% for sure as time goes on. They just need more All-Star selections. So that's why the probability seems like it's like low right now. Al Horford is someone I believe should make the Hall of Fame. The reason why I believe he should make the Hall of Fame is because though he's a five-time All-Star, some players like him have made the Hall of Fame even though they've like been an All-Star for 5 times only. Someone like Chris Webber right here, who definitely deserved to make the Hall of Fame, who was snubbed for like quite some time. He was a 5-time All-Star. Yet in spite of that, he had to wait for some time, but he finally was able to make the Hall of Fame. Though his Hall of Fame probability was 13%. That's what I've alluded to in the past earlier in this video. That there are sometimes players who have low Hall of Fame probability in spite of the fact that they have achieved a decent amount of stuff in their career and were like a 5-time All-Star. They had like a low Hall of Fame probability, but I'm glad to see that he made the Hall of Fame. So back to what I was saying. So someone like Derrick Rose, I believe he should make the Hall of Fame, even though he was only a 3-time All-Star and was the league's most youngest MVP. I believe he should make the Hall of Fame is because he was the youngest MVP and he was trying to he was taking the Chicago Bulls in the early 2010s to like relevance. And had he not gotten injured, he might have been able to win a title possibly. And who knows, he would have been for sure a Hall of Fame player by then. I think he will make the Hall of Fame. It's just that he'll probably have a lot of fan base who will be voting for him or who will be pushing for him to make the Hall of Fame. So I believe he will make the Hall of Fame. Someone like Trae Young, he is someone who I think will make the Hall of Fame as well too. He just needs more All-Star selections. Right now he has 3 All-Star selections, but I think he can acquire more All-Star selections as time goes on. Someone like Isaiah Thomas, I'm not sure if he will make the Hall of Fame. He was a 2-time All-Star. He had a very, very nice career. He is someone who, unfortunately, his hip got injured his career, and his career has not been the same since that hip injury back with the Boston Celtics, and everything was like things were going downhill from there. So like I don't think he'll make the Hall of Fame. Though I think he will. He was still a good player though at his peak. Someone like Domantas Sabonis, I think if he gets more All Star selections, he can make the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if he can make the Hall of Fame because like he just needs more to rack up more All Star selections because he is a very underrated player right now. He does everything what Nikola Jokic does, but he doesn't score as much points as like Nikola Jokic, but like still averages around 20 points per game, and he averages like 13 rebounds and close to 14 rebounds, and he's a great facilitator. He averages 8 assists as a big man. That is very impressive. That's what, of course, Nikola Jokic does. That's the reason why he's very underrated. He should have honestly made the All Star game this season. His probability would have been like probably somewhere in the 10 to 20% range. But like I think if he gets more All Star selections, he will make the Hall of Fame as well too. Now, as you can see, here are some few names that are like that have made the Hall of Fame, like Wayne Embry, Gus Johnson, Connie Hawkins. I do think they deserve to make the Hall of Fame. Some players like here, like DeAndre Jordan, Devin Booker, they're like low. They have a low probability because for someone like DeAndre Jordan, yes, he was a one-time All Star. He also won a championship, so like that's probably the reason why he was able to make. He has like a 3 to 4% chance of making the Hall of Fame according to Basketball Reference. Someone like Devin Booker, I think his probability will increase, and I think he's definitely worthy of the Hall of Fame if he keeps doing what he's been doing, which is getting more All Star selections. He's like been really good. He has four All Star selections currently. I think he can increase his All Star selections up for sure. Now there's Don Nelson who made the Hall of Fame as a player. The lowest probability to make the Hall of Fame was Bill Walton, who had a 2% chance of making the Hall of Fame, but he was a multiple time All Star and he did win the MVP and the Finals MVP back in 1977. And he did win 2 championships and he was a 2 time All Star, so that's why he made the Hall of Fame. And I believe he definitely deserved to make the Hall of Fame. So this is basically the list of players who like had a high like a probability to make the Hall of Fame. Here are some current players down here that have a Hall of Fame probability. So the minimum requirement to make the Hall of Fame is 400 games a minimum. As you can see from this list, Luka Doncic is not somewhere to be found here. The reason why Luka Doncic is not somewhere to be found here is because he has not played 400 games yet. He has only played 398 games. If he plays up to his 400th game by like this season, his name will be somewhere on this list, and I believe he'll be more than 50% or 60% in the Hall of Fame place based on how he has 6 All-Star selections. Or actually 5 All-Star selections. Sorry about that. It was 5 All-Star selections. But yeah, I believe he will have like a good place. He'll be like placed like 40, 50, 60% possibly. Now I think he'll obviously be able to increase his All-Star selections for sure. And I think he's gonna eventually get up to this area for sure. So yeah, that's all it is. That's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this video. I really liked doing this kind of video because I feel like this video is like I like to talk about the Hall of Fame. I love looking at this basketball reference to see what the Hall of Fame probability is for a player. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for looking have at taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.